Welcome back to Weekly Abductions. I'm your host, Sam. I'm bringing to you another 3 files from the CIA released Black Vault documents. We will be diving in now. Alright, so we're going to start off with C05515662. So they seem to be keeping tabs on Spain because there was some portions talking about like some things that were going on in Spain at the time. But there was a paragraph that said on July 6th of 1965, Antarctica flying saucer. A group of red, green, and yellow flying saucers have been flying over Deception Island for 2 hours by Argentine, Chilean, and British bases in Antarctica. Also, the flying saucer seemed to be flying in formation over the South Orkney Island in quick circles. And then it says Buenos Aires, A, NSA, Spanish, 1556 on 6th July 1965. So this one was another quick paragraph, but this one was talking about Antarctic flying saucers, but then also some of the bases that were out in Antarctica, because a lot of the country is kind of have all bases down there in kind of close proximities for the most part. But it was kind of interesting because it was talking about Antarctica, but then also Chilean bases, which I'm assuming is Chile, and then British bases. And then next up, we are going to be going to C05515663. So this one starts with Prognoz 6 atomic space station launched. So Moscow, 22nd September, was launched like the others prior to do research on the sun. It was doing research on the compulsory electromagnetic radiation, solar plasma flows, and solar activity, along with ultraviolet, gamma, and X-rays. So it's talking about Russia, essentially, launching a space station to do research on the sun. And then in another section, it says Petrogovodark. Apologies if I mispronounced that. 22nd of September, the inhabitants of the capital of the Soviet Republic of Karelia have witnessed the national phenomenon on the 20th of September. They saw a huge star appear in the dark sky and pulsing, sending shafts of light onto the earth, and slowly moved to Petrogovodark and spread it out like a Medusa, hung there showering the city with multitude of rays of rain, of like pouring rain. This description is pretty intense for this to be seen over a city,
right?
Or to see this like happen. But then it goes on to say, after some time, the rays stopped and the Medusa object turned into a semicircle and resumed movement to Lake Onega, the horizon of which was shrouded in gray clouds. Then after that, the semicircle of the bright light, reddish in the middle and then white on the sides, then formed into the shroud. This lasted 10 to 12 minutes. This experience would be something that would be very wild to see, just because seeing an object, like, I'm assuming the way that they say Medusa is just like the way that the hair kind of like shifts and then like moves and like spreads out to like a very, I don't know, that's what I can assume from that description. But then it like showered rays of light that like simulated raindrops, like pouring rain, which is again something else that is pretty intense. But then it went into kind of the way they say shrouded is like, I'm assuming like a deep fog over this lake, and then it kind of like went into the lake and then formed into it with like 10 to 12 minutes, and then I'm assuming vanished. But like they didn't really talk about that. But this sighting, I would have to say, is one of a very fascinating and bizarre one, because that's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild sighting. Like, that one was a pretty fascinating one to like read about. They were obviously diving deep on like the solar, or like the space race So this happened the 22nd of September in 1977. As I was saying, this one is pretty wild. Let me know in the comments like what you think it moving out into a Medusa-shaped object would be, what it sounds like to you, because I don't know. To me, it just sounds like the hair's like moving out and then just like making itself like very large. But then the fact that it like shifted back to that to a semicircle is again another pretty wild thing. Like not many crafts that we have that capability, and so like this one is very interesting. Very interesting. But we're going to go to the final one of this episode, which is C055156664. This one goes back to Argentina again, and the first three paragraphs talk about power plants and then like water electrical plants. And then there's a line about a high military person coming into the city. And then there was two smaller paragraphs about talking about missing people and the government telling the media that they're concerns about it. This one was kind of all over the place with just them keeping tabs on them. There was kind of only a short paragraph about an unidentified flying object there again, but it was kind of towards the end of this document. And this is Salta, Argentina, 14th May of 78. Strange object that some people in the northern zone of Salta province, 1,700 kilometers from Buenos Aires. So they claim they saw something falling from the sky, which was in fact an artificial satellite, which already has been located in Bolivia territory. Official sources in Solada announced Sunday. So this one could have been like a falling satellite that they have seen, or it could be Argentina trying to cover it up, like the U.S. has. So I don't know how to take about this one, but like again, there was a lot going on that wasn't about UFOs. The small one was, but who knows if that what they saw was what they saw, or indeed it was just a fallen satellite, which very well could have happened. But that kind of ends it off for this one. For me, by far the wildest one was the one that was in Russia, just because of the way it was described, what it was doing, and who knows what it was doing, because if it was showering rays of light down onto a city, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what kind of information they were doing or what was going on, but that one, by far, out of these documents, has been one of the wildest ones that I have seen so far. So I'm very curious what is to come in the next ones. So again, let me know what you think about what that could mean or how that could be visualized, because I think that's wild. But again, if you want to check out more from Culz Paranormal, click this link right over here. If you want to see more from Weekly Abductions, check that link over here. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to see more, click the notification bell from Personalized to All to be updated on all the upcoming videos. There are some very exciting ones and very interesting ones.